What is an experience worth to you? If you ride a motorcycle, you value experiences. Have you been wanting to set out on a trip, but you're waiting for a friend or a family member's schedule to align with yours? Having the company of others on a trip is enjoyable, but if your plans hinge on someone else, you may never get the experience you've been seeking. I encourage you to stop waiting and just go. Go alone. Allow me to set a scene that I'm confident many of you have experienced with your wife or girlfriend. Maybe it's a husband or boyfriend for some of you, but let's face it, there aren't many women watching my videos. Anyway, here's the scene. It's Friday night. You and the wife are trying to figure out what you're going to have for dinner. Your wife says, "I don't care, you pick." So you suggest going out for Mexican food. Then she hits you with something like, "No, I don't feel like having Mexican food tonight." You sigh to yourself and you bite your lip for a moment before suggesting Thai food. Your wife does that squinting look of displeasure before saying, "No, I had Asian food for lunch at the office today." This exchange repeats itself seemingly endlessly over the course of the next 20 to 30 minutes until you are hopelessly convinced that you're living in a matrix simulation meant to test your patience while simultaneously ratcheting up your hunger. Suddenly, just as you're about to head to the gas station in desperation to buy 2 hot dogs that have been on the heat rollers since that morning, your wife says, "I guess we can just go eat at the Mexican restaurant." Alright, sure you ended up with the meal you wanted, but it basically cost you your sanity. I have good news for you. All that, the whole scene I just painted, that does not happen when you travel alone. You say to yourself, "I want Mexican food." And then you go get Mexican food. Of course, there are more decisions on a trip than just meal choices. Nearly every aspect of a trip requires decisions. Disagreements on those decisions can make the entire experience less than ideal, if not outright unenjoyable. The beauty of traveling alone is you're the sole decision maker. If you want to ride down that random, unknown road, you're free to do it. There's no need to consult with others or make compromises on lodging, food, how to structure your activities, or any other aspect of the trip. The only drawback to any of this is that if something goes bad, you can only blame yourself. When you ride alone, you're in full control of every aspect of your journey. This becomes apparent even before setting out on your trip. You have the flexibility to plan every moment of your trip or throw caution to the wind and head out with no plan at all. If you're like me, you'll do what some may consider an absurd amount of research and planning of various routes and sites on your trip, only to alter plans in the moment when you realize things take more or less time than you expected. Or you may have a list of restaurants near where you're staying and have plans to eat a burger, only to change your mind because, by God, you're an adult, and if you want to eat tacos 3 nights in a row, that's your right. Whether you prefer to crush miles to get to a specific destination, or you like a leisurely pace with a lot of breaks, the decision is entirely up to you without protest from anyone. You can set your own pace, take spontaneous detours, and choose the routes that appeal to you. There's no need to compromise with others on where to go or how long to stay. Your journey is entirely your own. Solo travel pushes you outside your comfort zone. This is the best way to learn about yourself. You become more aware of your own preferences and tendencies when all of your thoughts, decisions, and actions are done without influence from a traveling companion. You'll learn what relaxes you, what you value in a trip, and you may even gain a little better understanding of your self-discipline. If nothing else, a solo moto trip will absolutely reveal a lack of self-discipline. At the very least, you'll complete your trip with a better understanding of your abilities, as well as an increased awareness of your limits. Traveling alone provides plenty of time for personal reflection, and riding new roads in unfamiliar environments increases your riding confidence. Any rider knows that motorcycles connect you to your environment in a way you just can't experience in a car. Traveling alone takes that experience a step further. You're able to immerse yourself in the sights, sounds, and smells of your environment because there's no riding partner there to distract you. Whether it's the open highway, winding mountain roads, or coastal views, you're able to appreciate the landscape in a much more personal way when you're alone. You can stop at every scenic overlook if that's your preference. Depending on your location, you may even sprinkle in some short hikes along the route. Maybe take a break at a roadside attraction, or stop to read a random historical marker miles from the nearest town. Regardless of where you may travel, I believe some of your best moments will be found alone on an empty back road. At times, motorcycle travel can require you to solve problems on the fly, like addressing a mechanical issue, dealing with poor weather conditions, or buying a new phone charger because you forgot to pack yours. I may have done that. Anyway, facing these challenges builds resilience, fosters a sense of independence, and will boost your confidence. Whether you're navigating an unfamiliar area, dealing with challenges, or just enjoying the solitude, solo motorcycle travel fosters a sense of self-reliance and confidence. You may be fortunate enough to enjoy good weather, and most likely, you won't experience a mechanical issue, but you will still experience a boost in confidence knowing you accepted these risks and proceeded with your travel anyway. Completing a solo motorcycle journey, whether it's a cross-country trip or just a weekend adventure, gives you a sense of accomplishment. Sure, you know you'll have fun, but it's more than just a longer version of your typical fun Sunday ride around town. It's more than just the open road. The process begins well before you ever leave home. The time you spend researching and planning is as much a part of the journey as any stretch of pavement you'll ride. You embark on the trip 1,000 times in your imagination leading up to it. At the conclusion of your trip, you have a sense of fulfillment knowing that you completed a solo adventure on your own terms, born of your own imagination. I feel like I should clarify that I'm not suggesting that everyone needs to embark on a solo motorcycle trip. I am absolutely by no means an authority on motorcycle travel, or an authority on anything about motorcycles for that matter. You can easily find countless people with tons more motorcycle travel experience than me, and you can find just as many that have completed far more adventurous moto trips than me. I'm just your average middle-aged suburban dad that returned to riding a little over 2 years ago. Since returning to riding, I have done a few solo trips, but none of my trips thus far have been longer than 4 nights. Every trip has been enjoyable and leaves me wanting more. Since I enjoy solo travel, I figure there must be others that would enjoy loading up their bike and heading out for a weekend trip alone. It doesn't have to be some weeks-long adventure across the continent. Perhaps you've never tried going alone, but you've toyed with the idea many times. Maybe you have previously mentioned the idea to friends or family that responded as though you were crazy or stupid for wanting to travel alone. I'm not saying do all your trips alone, but if you have thought about doing it and you're still waiting, my advice to you is just go. Go alone.